Look, it's no secret that entrepreneurs are some of the biggest procrastinators on the planet. We're creative, we can execute really well, but we like to put things off. I know I do. I know you probably do too if you're watching this. So I'm going to share with you 5 distinct things. There's small little tweaks you can make in your life that will make procrastinating essentially impossible. Okay. So let's talk about it. First of all, number one, the first thing you need to know to make procrastination a thing of the past is to get crystal clear on what it is you want to accomplish over the next, let's say, 90 days. Now, of course, this could be a shorter time frame, like 30 days. It could be a longer time frame, like a year. I like 90 days because it gives you enough time to actually accomplish something that you set out to do, but a short enough window where you can reliably see the results happening in real time. You don't have to feel like you have to wait for a year to see results. So the first thing is, if you want to stop procrastinating, first get clear on what it is you're looking to accomplish. That way, you'll actually be able to make a reasonable assessment of how far you are along the path to accomplishing what it is that you set out to do. So that's the first thing. Before you can approach your procrastination problem, first get clear on where it is you're trying to go. Now, the second thing you need to know is that if you want to make procrastination a thing of the past, you want to stop delaying what it is that you say you want to do and actually start doing it, then what you have to do is you have to create habits that make your goals inevitable. Okay? I'll say this again. You have to create habits that make your goals inevitable. Let me give you an example on this. So, my goal is to write and film one video every day. And I almost procrastinated on this video today. I didn't do it. But here's how I make sure that I never miss a day of writing and I never miss a day of filming. Okay. Basically, I don't allow myself to start my workday until I have accomplished those two core things. And the way I set it up is essentially when I open my computer for the work that I have to do for the day, and this is the beauty of being an entrepreneur and having you're making your own schedule essentially. When I set up my computer for the day, I open up my laptop, and there's all these different things you could handle. You could be checking out email, and you could be scrolling in your bank account, or you could be looking at your CRM, or doing all these different like entrepreneur things, and you're like attending to business, all this type of stuff. Instead of just opening up the computer for the day and jumping right into the work, I don't allow myself to begin the work process without accomplishing the habits that are what I consider the core habits I'm trying to lock in. Or I suppose if I really want to get technical about my word choice, I should never say trying to lock in. I should say the habits that I have decided, that I've chosen, that I've intended to lock in. I always make sure that I accomplish those first before I allow myself to do the rest of the work for the day. So let me give you an example that solidifies this. Today, I'm working on reviewing the edits that one of our editors returned to us for a book that we have published for one of our authors that's coming out with New Wave Press that is publishing sometime later this year. And my instinct is to go to the computer and, okay, I know that the edits have been returned to me, so I want to open the computer and I want to open up the doc that's been sent to me and just get right to it, right? But that's where you start to then forget about your core habits that you want to install. So what I say to myself is, I'm going to set aside at least 20 minutes before I start working for the day. And in that 20 minutes, I have to do some writing, some of my own personal writing. Now, it doesn't need to be good writing. There doesn't need to be a specific word count that is accompanied with that writing. It doesn't need to be for a specific piece or even a book that I'm working on for myself. It's just writing. It can be sometimes journal, sometimes stream of consciousness, or it could be for a deeper piece. But I have to make sure that I'm writing. And I almost look at that 20-minute block as the starting gun, like you're getting off to a race, or as the initiation, the ignition switch to allowing myself to get started with the other business for the day. So it becomes something where I don't allow myself to take step two until I've taken step one. And so what this allows me to do is say, I know it's impossible for me to accomplish, or I know it's impossible for me to forget to write today, to not have time, because in order to do any work, I have to first start with my writing. And I do the same thing with the video, but I do it on the other side. And sometimes I'll shoot video earlier in the day, but typically what I do is I will start my day off with at least 20 minutes of writing. Now, look, I'm in a position where I can spend more time writing if I want to, but it's a minimum of 20 minutes writing. And then what I'll do is I'll go into my work for the day. And then at the end of the day, my rule is before I leave work that day, I have to shoot at least one video. And I'm going to be honest, this is the end of my work day. I didn't really want to shoot this video. I didn't have any great ideas that came to me. I didn't really have anything I wanted to talk about. I didn't have any scripts that were popping up in I haven't written any scripts for this. So you know what I did? I scrolled back through my notes on my phone, the note app on my iPhone, and I just looked for things I'd written, and I saw a note that said 5 ways to overcome procrastination as an entrepreneur. And this is for a talk that I'd given like 7 years ago. I just scrolled back and saw this and thought, oh, that could be a video. So I didn't allow myself the luxury of saying, oh, I can't think of it today, or I don't know what to do, or I don't feel like it, because the whole goal is I've bookended my days starting with writing and ending with a video. Now, the video doesn't have any specific length on it. I mean, I'm looking at this now, we're about 5 minutes in, but it doesn't have to be a certain length of time for the video. But I just know that the video has to happen. And I'll give you one more note. The video doesn't necessarily need to get published either. Now I'm recording every day, and if you've been watching these on my channel, you know that I'm vlogging every single day in 2026. Some days I will make a video and I just don't like it. It's not good, so I just won't post it. And I have other videos that I've done. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 at a time, and I have extra videos, so I'm never going to go a day without posting. But sometimes I will just trash a video that I've done, but I'll still count it for the day, because it's not about having to have a good video every day. It's just recording. It's the act of recording. And that's sometimes I think what we get wrong when we're trying to create habits that we want to lead to results. We're so focused on the result that we're not focused on the activity or the routine that creates the results. And it's the habit that over time will create the result. It's not going for the result, it's going for the action. And so some days you'll record something, you won't like it, but you accomplish the action. And it's those daily actions that add up to a result over time, not the fact that you're going to make an award-winning video or a viral video. It just doesn't always happen. So this video coming at the end of my workday, it's coming from me scrolling through my notes and me saying, you know what, I could talk about that. So that's the second thing. You want to make sure that your habits are installed. And for me, I like to bookend my day with my habits, knowing that I won't be able to start or end my day without doing the things I committed to do. And it's writing something every day and recording something every day. Now, third thing, if you want to eliminate procrastination in your life forever, it's plan tomorrow tonight. So when you are developing a rhythm for yourself where you're getting into the routine of doing the things you say you're going to do and not lying to yourself and not procrastinating, you are going to need to help yourself by reducing some of the mental friction that you're often going to encounter by planning. And a lot of times we'll start our day and we'll sit down at our computer and we'll say, what do I want to do today? If that is what you are doing, then you're already kind of losing some momentum, because you don't want to have to wonder what needs to be accomplished on a day-to-day basis. You want to know. And in order to know what it is that has to be accomplished, you're going to have written that down beforehand. Now, this does a couple things for me at least. When I look at my calendar the day before and I start to think, okay, what do I have planned for tomorrow? What's the number one thing that's important for me tomorrow? Then it allows me to go to bed with a sense of peace that, okay, I know what's coming up. I don't miss any meetings because I'm looking ahead of time. I'm not caught off guard with things that maybe I forgot about. So I can go to bed with a little bit more peace. And when I wake up and I start to do my work after I've completed my habits, right? I will see that I can get right into it because I've already decided. A lot of times we waste time trying to decide what we should do, when really it's similar to what Abraham Lincoln said. I think he said, if I had 5 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 4 hours sharpening the saw, sharpening the axe. And maybe that at this point, maybe he really didn't say that, but it's a great encapsulation of a philosophy, which is preparation is what creates success. What is it? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. When you prepare for something diligently and ahead of time, you're much more likely to succeed at the execution of that. So if you prepare the night before, and it can be 10 minutes, looking at my calendar, seeing what I have coming up, seeing I have a call, mentally thinking about that, and then thinking, okay, what's the 1 or 2 things I have to accomplish tomorrow? And then make sure it's blocked on my calendar and go. And that's it. But all of these add up. So it's like we're very clear on what we want to accomplish over the next, let's say, 90 days. We have our habits in line, and we're looking to see what we want to do the next day so that we're clear. So now we start to really make procrastination even harder. Now, what's the next thing? You want to block your time. So just like we want to plan for our day, during those days, we want to block our time. And listen, I don't do this every single day, but most days I do it. And I like to keep my days relatively free so I can have flexibility. But at the same time, the only way to really be sure that you're accomplishing maximum efficiency is to know where your time is going. And at least for a while where you're really trying to, at least for a while, if you're really in that zone, in that pocket of trying to make something big happen, blocking your time is a huge benefit, a huge tool you can use. And so what I'll do is, for me, I'll say writing, and I'll put a 3-hour block. And I'll know when block, that's all I'm doing. And I'll even block my breaks. So if I have a 2 or 3 hour session of writing, I'll then block a 30-minute or a 40-minute break after that, however long I want to take. And I'll look throughout my day, throughout the end of the day, throughout the end of the week, and I'll say, okay, I know that if I'm following my own schedule, my own blocking, I'm putting in, let's say, 60 hours this week or 45 hours this week or 15 hours to this specific area. And I can start to make an accurate assessment of how much energy it's going to take me to accomplish certain tasks because I block the tasks and know, all right, this is going to take me another 20 hours. And that allows me to mentally account for the things that are most important, especially when you're doing deep work. So for us, again, we run a book publishing company, and a lot of it revolves around me writing and editing things, designing, creating things. And those are forms of deep work which require uninterrupted, unbroken focus. And then I can start to understand how many hours things actually take, and I can start to estimate better and know, all right, this is going to be another 2 weeks because I have 20 hours per week to work on this specific project. I know I need 2 weeks to do it. So you can start to block and understand. It's similar to how when I was training as a bodybuilder, the first thing my coach taught me to do was to track my food. And he said, it doesn't matter what you eat right now. You can have whatever you've been having before, but I want you to track it. Even if it's a stick of gum, I want it to be written down, and so that you know it went in your mouth. So all right, this is a calorie, it's going in, and I need to account for that. Same thing with your calendar. You need to know what it actually is you're spending your time on so that you can know where your time is going. You might be surprised to find that your time is not being spent as effectively as you'd previously thought. And I'll say one thing, from blocking my time, I've realized that not all hours and all minutes are created equally, right? So really, when I look at my effective hours that I use on a daily basis, I really am the most effective for about 5 hours a day. And that's usually broken up over 2 sessions. Or maybe even, let's call it 6 hours. But a lot of people will brag about, oh, I did a 12-hour day, I did a 14-hour day. That's a very Hormozy thing, and that's great. I hope God bless you. But I know that for deep work, for things that really require taxing mental energy, your brain just only has so much stamina, and you can make sure that you're eating and you're well fed and you're hydrated. You can Adderall it up if that's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, there's only so much bandwidth that you have. And if you know that you have, let's say, 4 to 6 golden hours, when you block those hours, you can be really certain that you're putting in your time most effectively, and you're organizing your time, and you're channeling your energy most effectively into the most important thing in the best time slots. So think about that as well. And as you get more advanced, you'll even start to understand when those time slots are set up to be most effective for you to be on the ball the most. So that's the fourth thing. And then so let's see the fifth thing. You want to review your days and your weeks on a regular basis. So you can look at it maybe a few times a month, twice a month, or even at the end of every month. And you want to review your calendar to understand where your time went, how effective you were with that time that you have spent, how you feel emotionally and internally about the things that you've done that week, and what you want to improve. And I literally want you to look at your week or even your month as you've recorded it, and I want you to make suggestions for yourself on improvements to make. Now, that could be around what time you're waking up and going to sleep. It could be around what you are eating during the day to make yourself more energized. It could be around how you're blocking your time. It could be around the things you're working on in those blocks. It could be around specific habits that you want to install. But the whole goal is treat your brain like you treat your business, in that you want to look for ways to improve your key areas, your key progress indicators. And if you submit your time to a regular review, you'll find that you won't waste it as much, because you'll have a mental program running in the back of your head that says, don't waste time, don't waste time, and you'll procrastinate much less. So these are the 5 things that I've implemented in my life. They're small, little, tiny tweaks that have helped me to stop procrastinating to the point now where I can use my time effectively, and I don't feel worried that I'm not maximizing my energetic potential and my gifts. That, I think, will be helpful for you. If you have any questions about that, you can leave it in the comments. I'm happy to answer. I'm going to be back here tomorrow. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel if you want more health, wealth, and wisdom, especially for entrepreneurs and experts who want to go from unknown to the #1 authority in your industry. That's me, Daniel DiPiazza. Talk to you soon. Peace.